dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Dreams and wishes are safer than reality. Real success requires that you be willing to try again. That's how you turn failure to a win. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Failure doesn't mean it's time to quit. Failure means you haven't mastered it. Whatever it is you're trying to do, don't let failure take it from you. Figure out where you went wrong. That's how you'll start growing strong. Study what happened and learn. This is how your success you'll learn. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust. Failure's just a learning opportunity. Lose the fear, set your dreams free. Step out and take the risk. You must go big or go home. Success or bust.
That's right. Go big or go home. Success or bust. All right, let me get my webcam on. Woo! All right, we are live, and it is time for the show. Yay! Nice to see you too. Always a pleasure, Malachi. I hope things have been going well for you there in Vermont. Hope it is not too cold for you. It's decent weather here. I have an interview at 9 a.m. tomorrow, all the way in Morris, Minnesota, for a tourism coordinator position. So, prayers would be appreciated. That is the same city that offered Randy a job, so it looks good. It sounds good, and I'm feeling pretty good about the opportunity that it presents. So, it's only a part-time position, but that allows me to keep running my business without too much hassle and provide me a steady income that I can then invest in growth. So, that is something that has been lacking for me. The weather isn't that bad for this time of the year. That's good. Hopefully. The weather in here is okay. It's cool, not cold. And we should be getting high winds tonight, but no snow on the way there. It'll be 28 degrees tomorrow when we get there, which is not too bad. Winter weather for sure, but not too bad. So, yeah, you can see the mess in the back. They're about 30 degrees right there in Vermont. Yeah. So today I did a little bit of shopping. I got myself a couple of dresses for professional clothing, just as a prep maneuver for my interview. Make sure that I was in professional standing, as they might say. Because, you don't want to show up looking like a schlum. You're going to get some snow over there in the next couple of days. Guess it's going to be a good opportunity to work those arms and back out, huh? Speaking of, how's the rehab going? Hopefully things are going well. I know. Let's see. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm fairly confident that I'm going to be able to bring to the table what other people can't. For one thing, I already did a lot of research into the city and who the major players are, what the available current status is of the venues in town, what they have to offer, where their opportunities are. And really, one of the things that I'm considering recommending to them, they seem to be heavily event focused as far as attracting tourism to the city. And what I plan to recommend is they switch their approach slightly to focus on drawing people because of what they already have. Focus on the strengths of the place rather than trying to compete with other cities in terms of what events they can draw. Ah, the rehab's done. So now you just got to keep doing the PT exercises and stay strong. Well, that's good. That's good news. Hopefully that is going to stay in good shape for a good long while now. Yay! Hearts and cheers. It's always good to know that you guys are healthy and relatively happy. Can't fix everything, but at least I can say prayers over you guys every day, and I do. Matter of fact, I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning, and that's one of the first things I do is get in there and get you guys prayed up by name. So I take care of my peeps. Because I figure, you know, one of the things I learned when I was younger was that whenever you serve someone, not because you're looking to gain anything from them, but out of a sincere desire to help them, then you're actually sowing your own seeds of future success. The universe is actually set up, the rules of it are set up to reward generosity. For instance, if two farmers have each 100 seeds, and one farmer decides to plant all 99 of those, or all 100 of those seeds in the ground, and then he generously nurtures those seeds as they're growing, right? He's continually pouring love into them. He may not see a return on his investment for 3 months, 6 months, but when the harvest comes, it's going to be big, right? Whereas if the other guy decides, no, I can't really afford to plant all these, so I'm going to hold on to them, and he only plants 10, and then he's shoddy with how generous he is with his time and attention to those 10, well, he's going to get maybe some results, but they're not going to be very good. Yep. Yes. And rehab is definitely hard work. I used to work in a rehabilitation center for a hospital, and I know the kind of work it takes to get rehabilitated when you've had a severe injury. I used to work with patients who had had hip and knee replacements, and that is a booger bear, and people who had had strokes and were recovering. And it is difficult. It really is. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's not easy work, and it can be a lot of discouraging work because your body is screaming at you. So it's definitely something I appreciate when somebody does put in the work. And it does take work to get back on top of things. But it's like anything else. If you really want it, you'll put in the work. If it's worth it to you, you'll put in the work. And you'll get the return out of the investment. Whatever you put into it, that's what you're going to get back out of it. And a lot of people want it to be an easy process, but it just isn't. You know, it's sometimes 2 steps forward and about 10 steps backward. So, you know, yeah, you got to embrace the suck. Exactly right, Malachi. If you're not embracing the suck, well, you're gonna just quit too soon, and then you'll not really gain the fruits at all. But yeah. So, woo! lots of things going on in our lives. We, naturally, as I said, Randy got an offer from the town that we're going to. He hasn't accepted it yet. He is going to interview in Manitowoc in Wisconsin on Monday, but we're pretty sure Morris is where we're going to end up. Or, yeah, Morris, Minnesota. And it's a smaller town, smaller community, but it's got a lot going for it. And I feel like we're going to be a kind of bigger fish in a smaller pond, which means it'll be easy to step in and plug into the community and get connected and make a real difference. And that's kind of one of those things that I have been missing. It's hard to do that work, to step out and get connected and stuff when you're doing a lot of childcare, because you can't, just drag the kid everywhere. Everything's going okay. It's actually better than it has a right to be. Kind of turned that corner once we got the car. That gives us a measure of mobile independence that we didn't have before. And it made it possible for Randy to have confidence when the job interview came up for the first station. And that confidence is key to getting a job. And then it also makes it possible for me to get to this interview. So, without that car, I wouldn't have been able to, because my son's car is in the shop right now. And he probably wouldn't have had the ability to put the car in the shop, because he wouldn't have been able to be without a vehicle, because it's the vehicle we relied on to pick up Mia and get her to school and everything. So it's been a blessing for him too. He's been able to let his car be in the shop and get taken care of and get the maintenance done on it that it needed. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to have any troubles with readjusting. When I first moved to Elko, Nevada, it took me a while to get plugged in, probably about 6 months to get plugged into the community, but once I did, that experience taught me a lot about how to get plugged into a community and how to become really almost a core piece of that community with very little, just by pursuing your interests. Like, I started a writers group because there was a gap. There was no writers group. People had tried to start one for a long time, but nobody was willing to commit, and nobody seemed to be able to pull it together. So I grabbed a friend of mine. She invited people. I put an ad in the newspaper to let people know. We hosted it at the local bookstore so that it was benefiting the bookstore owner. And that thing grew steadily over the 2 years that I hosted it there. And then I also got plugged into the art club and eventually became president and was the lead person coordinating the Art in the Park event. So I got to know a lot of people really fast. Now, I wish back then that I had understood the importance of cultivating connections once you leave a town, but I was not good at that. That was not a skill I'd really developed yet. So I'm looking forward to going into this community and bringing all that past experience and all the lessons I've learned in the meantime to this new community. I'm already reaching out to see about partnering with the university on a writing competition concept that I had developed years ago. And when I first developed it, it's a 40-day writer reality TV is what I'd called it originally, because it was going to be 40 writers competing over 40 days to finish, polish, and pitch their books to publishers. And we did a virtual, streamlined version of that 2 years ago on my channel. You'll find it. I called it Writing Reality. They called it the Author's Reality TV show. But we took 4 authors and 4 publishers and 4 judges, basically, and only 1 winner was allowed, whereas with my concept, we would have had 8 final winners, 2 per genre, and it was up to publishers to decide whose book they wanted. And originally, when I had that concept, I was looking at it costing $2 million because I wanted them to be able to have their stay, to stay in one place and have it basically be where they were focused on learning the business of publishing, not just writing. So there would be, educational aspects of it. At the same time, there was the pressure to produce each day. And so I figured the natural element of that pressure would actually go a long way toward creating the kind of reality stuff that you really look for, the drama. I think people underestimate how dramatic real life is sometimes. That you don't have to manufacture drama, it tends to manufacture itself. And especially for authors, being asked, most of us become authors because we're not comfortable being in the spotlight per se. We tend to be somewhat introverted. We like to hide behind the words and the pages. And so when you're thrusting a group of 40 authors into the spotlight and asking them to produce their work on camera, it can produce a lot of drama because it's pulling them out of their comfort zone. So, but at the time, like, I was gonna use a hotel, and of course that's an expensive stay. But as we're preparing this move for Morris, I'm realizing, why didn't I just partner with the university and do it there? Not only would it benefit them, because then they can use their English department's professors as judges and showcase that, but exactly. Life has no problems throwing curveballs and drama. My life has certainly been full of it, and I did not manufacture it. I didn't need to. I could not have written a script that crazy. I mean, come on. But at any rate, so that's what I'm thinking of pitching to them, is that we do it on their campus. It becomes a way of not only promoting Morris, but promoting the university, showcasing the local creative talent and bringing new creative talent into it, and making it the center of kind of a writing experience. And we could even partner with the Independent Book Publishers Association and the Catholic Writers Guild and some other organizations that I'm affiliated with, and really get this kicked off and going. So those are the kinds of ideas that I'm already tooling around with, already thinking through how I would execute, what would be the best way. And one of the big challenges that I had when I was thinking through the concept is because what I wanted them to do was start with Twitter and just a single sentence that described the big idea behind their book, and teach them how to do that. And then whoever got the most likes and shares and retweets, well, that would be the top echelon, would be chosen to go to the next stage. And the next stage would be on Facebook, where they would put together a single page synopsis of their book. But actually, I may scale that back. And what I may have them do is put on YouTube essentially a trailer of a 150 word description of their book's big drama, and then do the Facebook single page synopsis, and then do, have them submit their marketing plan for the book. And, teach them as they go how to do these things. And the top 40 candidates will go on to be chosen for the show. And the rules will be that they have to use Google Docs for all stages of the competition to write out their concept and submit it, because Google Docs will track for me when exactly they did it. So there's no cheating, there's no getting ahead of the line, there's no disputes about when somebody created something. And that makes the competition fair for everyone. And, if I do it this way, this greatly reduces, people can do webcam from their room. And we would have them write with camera on using OBS, so it doesn't cost them anything. Kind of have them do live streams of their chapter work, and then a wrap up where they discuss how they felt about the day's progress, what things they learned that day in the workshops and things like that. And basically that kind of stuff, so that we get the B-roll footage that we need on top of the writing stuff, and that viewers have the ability to live chat with their preferred writer, and it helps the writer build an audience. It helps the writer get comfortable being in front of an audience. It really helps them build the marketing thought process, and would position them to be able to come to the table with a built-in audience, and not only that, but be able to be an educated partner in the publishing game. So for the publisher and the author, it's a win-win. And that's my thought process. And if we host it there at the University of Minnesota Morris, then, like I said, it becomes an opportunity to kind of promote the town, promote the university, showcase what we have to offer there, because really it's a beautiful location. Yes, it's way out of the way, but I think that's actually a selling point, because it's a place to get away from all the commotion that the big city brings. It's a place I'm thinking of encouraging them to rebrand it. Right now they've got it Explore More in Morris, and I'm thinking that they probably should rebrand it as the place where ideas are born. And then I'm thinking of putting together a Morris Solutions Institute, which would be a consulting firm that would hire like professors and other people in town that have specialized expertise. Hey, Sam! You like gloves? Your channel's about gloves? That's awesome. Glad to hear you like gloves, man. Do you have any disposable gloves, plastic gloves, rubber gloves, cleaning gloves, or surgical gloves? No, I do not, actually. The only gloves I do have are the kind that keep you warm in the cold. What made you decide to focus on gloves, Sam? I'm curious. What fascinates you about gloves? It's a very interesting niche, Sam. Very interesting. Welcome to the channel. You've walked into the middle of Real Talk. I'm Brandy M. Miller. I'm the hostess of the channel. And tonight is Real Talk. It's basically any conversation you want to have about any topic. I was just talking about our prospective move to Morris, Minnesota, and what I've been doing to think through how I would handle it if I land the tourist coordinator position that I'm applying for. What opportunities I see Morris having. And then, like I said, so it's just basically a lot of BS, which is funny, because when I was born, those were my initials, BS. And when I married my husband, and my initials became BM, which is just a classier version of BS. So, that's what we were talking about. You are now caught up to speed. What have you been working on, Malachi? Aside from rehabilitation, which I know has been a huge part of the journey for like, what, the last 6 weeks? Nasal drainage, isn't it lovely? Spring has sprung and so has my nose. Just been talking smack. Yeah, well, you know, it's a hobby. Everybody's got to have a hobby, right? Listen, when I was younger, I used to play video games all the time. I don't play them as much anymore because I just don't really have the time. But um, one of my favorite games to play was Planescape Torment. And in that game, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, there was uh, a demoness, and I can't even remember her name, but she ran a brothel for slaking of intellectual lusts, not physical lusts, intellectual lusts. And in that brothel, you could pay her to have her insult a character and teach the character new taunts. So, which I find to be a fascinating concept. You just posted up your pickup installation of Seymour Duncan Invader style pickups. Oh, nice! I'll have to check that out. How do those sound, by the way? Did you do it in the one with the checkered, or did you do it in a different uh, guitar? Your longest video yet? Yeah, well, I would imagine it would take a while to do that. Your West Creek high voltage star culprit style? Ooh, in the purple. Nice. Have to check that out for sure. What was your experience with that? Everything goes smooth? Well, I guess that would be a spoiler, wouldn't it? That's not fair for me to ask. Getting bold with the pickups. One of the things I do want to do is when finances stabilize and we have a place to put it, I do want to do my own guitar build and do some art there. You like to stay and watch the live stream if people wears disposable gloves, disposable plastic gloves, rubber gloves, cleaning gloves, surgical gloves on both hands just for me while you're live streaming. Oh, I see. Well, that would be an interesting way to do a stream for sure, Sam. That would definitely be an interesting stream. But yeah, so I might order myself one of those guitar body kits and then put it together and modify it and do some artwork on it, which some people would say is sacrilege, but as long as it's an electric guitar and I'm doing the acrylic like I did with the Grote, I don't think I've done the research and it actually doesn't really impact the sound. Um, so I'm not worried about that. And in fact, one of the things I want to do at some point in time is the video that is the research behind why it doesn't impact. You didn't wear gloves during the installation process? Oh no! Ted does, man. Ted is religious about wearing gloves during that stuff. Yeah, you're not going to catch Ted without a glove on, man. Of course, you know, I suppose if you dive into somebody's guts, you probably should wear gloves, right? If you're diving into the guitar guts, maybe you should. So, oh, yeah. So, that is where we are. I did spend the day doing some more packing up of boxes. We actually don't have, realistically, don't have that much to pack. It looks like a lot more than it is, but there's a couple of big totes that I have in the front room that are all, and I mean this, all plastic shopping bags. And I was saving them because I've developed a technique for ironing them down and turning them into basically plastic leather looking fabricy type stuff. It's synthetic leather, I guess, is what you would call it. And so then I can use them in sewing projects. And so I was going to go ahead and recycle them that way. But we're running low on time, and I probably won't be able to empty the bin before it's time to move. So we'll see how that goes. You even wore a mask. Good. Well, I don't doubt you wear gloves cleaving off the fungi on that pickup that Ted sent you. Oof. Yeah. Yeah. I can only imagine what that was like. I bet you had to hose down your place after that, man, just to make sure that the bugs didn't get everywhere. Ugh. I don't, I mean, I say that, but maybe I would have made the effort. I definitely would have dropped them in some kind of solution first. Ugh. I would not look forward to that. Although, you know, for free pickups, I don't know. You could have worse deals. I was actually watching a video today. You'd like to modify and finish your groat? Yeah. Yeah. It's possible. I mean, right now we don't have any money to ship anything anywhere, but it's possible once we get settled, I might be willing to do that. Send it to you. It's in pieces right now, so you'd have to reassemble it, but that's not such a big deal. And at least it would get some love. Although my goal with it was, once we got it modified and put back together, is to give it to somebody who would like to start their guitar journey, but doesn't have the finances to be able to afford a decent guitar. And even though that Grote is never going to be a great guitar, it would at least be good enough for a starter. It would at least get them going in the right direction and not be a total mess. Because really, Brian gave it to him because he didn't even consider it to be a really playable guitar, and he didn't want to throw it out. And so Randy said he'd take it off his hands and modify it. But then, of course, you know, life happens. And everything, the minute that we got in position to be able to do the modifications, that's when the wheels fell off, so to speak. Yeah, Sam. Tell us what you love most about gloves. And how did you get into a glove channel? Because that's definitely got to be the most unique niche I've heard yet. I didn't know there were I didn't know there were glove specialists out there, but I guess there's somebody for everybody. Me, I'm not a specialist. I am a generalist. I do a lot of different things. I do art, and I do writing, and I do chatting, and I just run the gambit. And I actually have set up a new channel, the Game Dev Lab, because once my life gets stable, there's some games that I had been in the process of developing that I want to record the process of finishing those games. Like, there's a game that I have called Writing Tycoon that I was working on a few years ago. But at the time, I really didn't feel like I had the skills to put together the cover art for it. And so it kind of languished. But now I'm more confident that I can actually do the artwork for it, the splash screen artwork, and do it in a manner that would make me happy and maybe even attract other people. And so my plan is to get that cover art finished, scrape together the $100 that you need, because to list a game on Steam is $100. I don't know if you're aware of that, but just to list it. You loved gloves for many years, then you made a gloves channel, and it has 1.45 subs on it. Nice! Over almost 1,500 subs. That's awesome. Yeah, Malachi is drums, guitars, gear, and amplifiers. If it makes noise and it's loud, he loves it. um, Me, I like it pretty. I like pretty words and I like words. I like art. I like music too. Just for me, while you're live streaming, keeping on both sides, just for me. I don't have any gloves to put on both hands, buddy. Right now, I think I'm not even sure where my gloves actually are. We're in the process of moving, so right now everything's in a questionable state. But I may make a short just for you, Sam. I don't really have any gloves at home. Like I said, the only ones I have are cold weather gear, and right now I'm not sure where they're at. Um, I'd have to pretty much search through the whole house just to figure that out. I may need to anyway because we're planning to go to Morris, Minnesota on tomorrow, and it's supposed to be colder than here by quite a bit. So, and yes, this is real talk, and yes, you can bring up any topic, but I will tell you, if you're spamming about gloves constantly, and I get tired of talking about gloves, just know that you're setting yourself up for not having a fun time here. Oh. You have winter gloves, rubber gloves, knitted gloves, drumming gloves, and leather gloves. I did not know there were drumming gloves, Malachi. That is a new fact for me. Drumming gloves. Interesting. I guess that makes sense though, since I'm sure while you're drumming you get a little bit sweaty in the hands, especially maybe. And it probably helps you grip. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it gives you wrist support too, huh? Interesting. The things you learn when you talk to people across genres. Hey, Sam, do me a favor, honey. Don't spam gloves into everything you say. That's not cute. Talk like a normal human being. They've got a special padding on the palm of the hand and the wrist. Yeah, I imagine that helps a lot when you're drumming. When I was thinking about it, I guess it would help you retain your grip and stabilize your wrist too. My computer is right now making some of the weirdest noises. Noises. Oh my goodness. So, suppose, Sam, if I need an expert on gloves, I know who to talk to. Indeed. The glove man. Boxing gloves. Hey, Lori! Good to see you! Next time you'll do a drum cover, you wear them? Oh, that's cool. I'll look forward to seeing that. Hopefully, your next drum cover will be something from me. But we'll see, right? We'll see. How are you doing tonight, Lori? What's going on in your corner of the world? Take it, check a look. Ah, music. The history makers of our world, our lives, yes. Yep. Got your puppers babysitting one? Yep. How's Milo doing? You still playing fetch with him? The amount of boxing and MMA gloves? That's true, Malachi. With you having done MMA, you should have quite a few pairs of gloves. Unless you got rid of them all for some reason, which I doubt. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my sister, my younger sister, who does acrylics, she would probably have a lot more gloves. Yes, every day. Is he good boy? Sweet dog. I've been trying to get around to everybody's channel that subscribes to me to at least, you know, give them a view or a subscribe if they've got videos going, or at least learn a little bit about them. And just so you know that I add you guys to my prayer list whenever you subscribe, so you have my prayers. If you're a part of my channel community, you are a part of my family, and I treat you that way. You know, in some cases, you know, somebody telling you when you're part of the family, you're part of the family, you know, that can be toxic, you know. You know what I'm saying? Not all family's good family. But I try to make being part of my family a good family. The kind where you're welcome whenever you show up, you're welcome and you're loved and you're made to feel like you matter, because you do. And then if you don't show up, no harm, no foul. We just keep rolling and we keep praying. So don't feel pressured to be here. Don't feel like anybody's going to ever be mad at you because you didn't show. We definitely miss you when you're not here, but we're always happy to see you. I tend to treat people like I treat beloved cats. When the cat wants in the door, you let the cat in the door. When the cat wants up in your lap, you let the cat up on your lap. You pet the cat when the cat wants to be petted. And when the cat's ready to be let go, you let go of the cat. When the cat wants out, you let the cat out. You know, you give them as much love and attention as they want. Hey! I do sing. I have never been paid to sing. So technically, no, I have never sung professionally. But I do sing. I used to sing in the church choir. I haven't done that in a while. Pretty much since we moved here. Not because I didn't want to, but because making rehearsal times is a little challenging, so. But yeah. I've never been paid to sing, so I technically wouldn't qualify as a professional. I'm strictly
to the heart, that's where memories start. Let them know what you can do to make their happily ever after true. With fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. Fairy tale marketing, it's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing. Fairy tale marketing, make your brand story sing. Sell your brand with your story, show your customers their glory. Appeal to the heart, that's where memories start. Let them know what you can do to make their happily ever after true. With fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. Fairy tale marketing, it's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. It's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing, they'll never forget. It's a sure bet. Fairy tale marketing.
You are.
Okay.
You're already back in.
Yeah, no. I'm not visible back in. That's what I was talking about. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully, oh, there we go. Maybe it's showing my webcam. There we go. All right. Oh, thank you folks for being patient and hanging out and chilling with me. We just had a technical difficulty where the computer decided to reboot itself spontaneously. Woohoo! Nothing says fun like you have a crowd, finally, right? People gathered around and then boom, it's just decides to reboot itself. Yeah, blue screen of death, basically. It was crazy. And then, yeah, so I'm back. And YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffeting. So I apologize if there's crap quality. I don't know what's going on tonight. It's just not behaving itself like it should. But yeah, so here we are. Bottom line, all topics, any topics you want to talk about are fair game. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate that. A compliment on my singing voice. Yes. I do in fact sing. No, I've never been paid, so technically I'm not a professional, but I also write songs. So your old Washburn didn't have great electronics. The new Fender sounds fantastic. If you can figure out how to balance your lapel mic to use as a boom mic, then content will come soon. That's cool. That's awesome, actually. Very nice. So, oh my goodness. Things are going well around here. I know you guys are preparing for Danielle's memorial, Linda, and that's got to be rough. So I'm glad you're here with us. I hope, yes, Sam, I appreciate my glove friend being here. By the way, for those who don't know yet, Sam is new to our channel, but Sam loves gloves. All kinds of gloves. And he loves it when people wear gloves and show both gloves in the stream. I don't have any gloves, or I would right now. Or at least more to the point, I don't know where my gloves happen to be. So, yeah. Yes, so far they have been. I have an interview tomorrow at 9 a.m. for a tourist coordinator position. So Randy has a job offer in Morris, Minnesota. If I get this job, that's probably where we're going to be heading. And then he has an interview in Manitowoc, Wisconsin on Monday. We have an overnight stay there, so we'll be there Monday and Tuesday, check out the town, see our way through, and make a decision after that. And then, of course, there's the matter of actually getting ourselves moved, which is probably going to take about $1,500 to $2,000 to get us into a place. But the good news on that is that there's a friend of mine that I've cultivated over the past few years, and she and I do a lot of work together, and I just got news to send over an invoice to her that could potentially be paid at the end of this month, which would be perfect timing because that's when we have to be out of here. And we would be able to then get ourselves a place with no problem. Also, was encouraged to put together a GoFundMe, which I haven't done yet and need to do. Set up a GoFundMe to try and raise, see if I can't raise the money to purchase this sweet little 5-bedroom, 1-bathroom house that's there that's only $57,500. And I really, really want it. I really, really want it. And I'm going to see what we can do to arrange that, but it would be so nice to have, it would be my first home ever. I've never owned a home in my entire life. And it's been a dream of mine since I was little to own a home. And this would be a 5 bedroom, like I said, a 5 bedroom, 1 bath, and it's got a very large basement downstairs that's unfinished. So we could finish that out and use that as a studio. And then the upstairs rooms, we could bring people in, and I could work with them, treat it kind of like the on site retreat center. So it would be a really great deal. Me too, Linda. Me too. Um, I'm trusting God in this though. You know, um, if that place isn't ours and isn't to be, then there will be another place and it will be better. And if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen down the road. All God's timing. And that's, one of those things that I've been learning over the last year and a half really is the art of surrendering it all to Him and trusting that His way and His timing is the better way. Yeah. And you used to have motorcycle riding gloves when you had your Yamaha? Yeah. My little sister has a Harley Davidson. That thing, she she loves it to death, but she's not necessarily the safest on it because she has MS, and so sometimes if she gets like one of her episodes, she laid it down in the street one day and was lucky to walk away without anything more than a few scrapes. Yeah, yeah, those things are not cheap. Um, I certainly can't afford to buy that kind of thing. But that's because right now, we just really don't have the finances to buy much of anything. But that looks like it's going to be changing pretty soon, and I'm looking forward to certainly that change of pace. One of the real reasons is there's a long time ago I have wanted to start what I call the Human Development Investment Group, where basically put money into fixing and flipping human beings. Taking people that are undervalued or underemployed or homeless and investing in them to help them start businesses based on things that they're already good at doing, based on skills and gifts and talents that they already possess, which means that the investment bar has to be is greatly lowered because they already have the skills. You don't have to train them, and then teach them how to leverage those skills to actually build a sustainable business. And for a very small percentage of the profits that they make. So that's something I'm looking forward to having the ability to actually do instead of just think about doing. So I'm very, I firmly believe, capitalism in our country gets a really bad rap. And it's because it's gotten confused with corporatism. And those two are not the same thing. Capitalism is you and me, Will, and maybe Malachi, and we're engaged in business transactions, and everybody in this channel, let's say that we do business with each other. Yeah, exactly. And we do business with each other. And we're doing it one on one. And if I screw you over, you have the right to sue me and you have the right to complain to the community about me. And then the community comes in and addresses the grievances and makes sure that everybody does the right thing for each other. That's capitalism. It's tied to a community, it's individuals doing business with each other, and there's accountability on all sides. And the real goal of capitalism is not to screw each other over or to get one over on one another. It's to create win-win-win opportunities so that not only do each of the people engaged in business win, but the community wins too. Because the reality of a capitalist system is that the business owner, the small business owner, can't grow if the community around them isn't profitable, because you've got nobody to sell to. You can't make more money if you're choking the life out of your community. What happens, though, in our country, and this needs to, the way things are handled definitely needs to change, is that we get corporations going. And what happens with corporations is very different from what happens with small business, real small business. Corporations, the government acts as a mediary between the corporation and the community. The government basically goes to the business and says, "This is nice business. This is nice business you got here. Be ashamed if something happened to it. You pay me money, I make sure nothing happens to it." So the corporation gets in bed with the government. Now, the only accountability that the corporation has is to the government, where they pay taxes, and their shareholders that get a percentage of everything that they make. And the shareholders do not give a crap about the communities that they operate in because they're not tied to them. They have nothing to do with them. They don't know anything about them, and they don't want to know anything about them, and they've got no vested interest in learning more about those communities. So if the corporation screws over the community in order to get the profits, the government gives them permission to just walk away from that situation without having to clean up the mess. They can screw over the community, they can screw over the individual, and all they have to do to walk away from it all is, you can sue. What are you going to do? Sue the corporation when it's bankrupt because the guy that ran it took all the profits and the shareholders take all the profits? You know that if a corporation goes bankrupt, the shareholders have more rights than the people that they owed. The shareholders have to be paid first. Everybody else gets screwed on down the line. So really the only people that benefit from corporations are the corporate founder, the government, and the shareholders. The communities get screwed, the people get screwed. And then they went off and made it a law where corporations actually act as voting entities, which is the most bizarre thing I have ever heard. All right, so that's my business rant for the night. I don't mind capitalism. I do have very definite opinions about corporatism, because corporations end up running our government because they collectively can pull profit at greater rate than any small business owner by themselves ever could, and then they use those to buy votes, to buy politicians, and operate everything behind the scene. So, but like I said, rant over. You now know my opinion. Not like you needed it. But that's my personal take on the situation. I think corporations need to be dismantled. By and large, I think they are toxic to the American way of life. I think they are antithetical to everything we stand for, because they do not have any accountability to the communities and the individuals they're serving. Yeah. You had a Harley Softail Deluxe, classy bike. Yeah. I can understand. It's sad when you have to put those things away. When you put your favorite things away because you got back pains or you got some other situation that prevents you from it. But yeah. It's my goal to sort of even the playing field, because I think one of the things that has happened is that a lot of people have gifts and talents and skills, but they don't know how to leverage those. In fact, I would say that the greatest difference between the rich and the poor isn't what's in their bank account. It's that the rich know what they have of value. They know how to package it and present it to other people in a way that makes it appealing to them, and thus they can profit from it. The poor don't know those things. It doesn't mean that the poor don't have value. It means that they don't know what they have that's valuable, and they don't know how to mine it, refine it, package it, and present it in a way that makes that value clear to other people. And if I can help them change that, then I can help them get out of poverty. And that's my goal. I want to see less people in poverty, not because I don't think poverty has value. Poverty teaches you a lot of things. I have learned a lot of life lessons in poverty. I've learned to be far more resilient than I ever was because I've had to struggle with not having money to use to fix problems. In fact, one of the things I've learned over the years is how valuable it is to be able to operate without money. You're not old, you're just middle-aged and feeling old. Yeah. Yeah. I'm 50. And for the most part, I don't really feel old. There are days, though, that I definitely feel that age. There are days. So, yeah. But I guess I've talked, basically, hopefully I haven't driven everybody away. I have very strong opinions, you will discover, and in real talk, you will discover that I have very strong opinions about things. And it's not because I'm not educated, it's because, yeah, yeah, AARP. Hey man, the AARP was starting to send me stuff when I was 45. I'm like, dude, I'm not even 50. Can you let me alone for a little while? But I think it's because AARP likes their voter base more than they like anything. So, and it's a subscription model. They make a lot of money off of that. So, but I'm looking forward to the breakfast discounts, okay? Because seniors do get significant discounts on things, and I am hoping that that is still the case by the time I get into the age bracket. I'd like to be able to buy the $5 Grand Slam, you know? Although it was hilarious. One day, we were in a restaurant, and they gave me the senior discount without even asking for ID. I was like, whoa, dude. I'm not old enough for this. Like, but I didn't want to go say something to them because it might have embarrassed them. Also because I didn't mind paying less. I guess I figured it was the tax on assuming that I'm old enough to be a senior when you haven't even asked to see my ID. Tax for being an obnoxious young person. Yeah, the senior discount on everything. I mean, it is incredible, some of those senior discounts. And I get it too, though. A lot of them are on fixed incomes, like my mother. Um, she brings home about $1,100 a month, but out of that she sees about $750, and that $750 goes to rent. It's ridiculous. Cheap coffee! Yes, yes. I have an associate's in elementary education, and that and $1.60 might buy you something that passes for a cheap cup of coffee. It was much to my dismay that I discovered that an associate's in elementary education entitles you to a minimum wage job as a teacher's assistant, and that's about it. I couldn't afford to actually take the year off for student teaching that would have been required to get my full teaching degree. So that's where I ended up with nothing more than an associate's, which entitles you to jack and crap. So, c'est la vie. The actual technical senior age starts at 62 is when you're first allowed to claim Social Security, although I think they just bumped that up to 65. It used to be that 65 was the actual retirement age. And a lot of corporations would force people out the door at 65. Even people who wanted to keep working were basically encouraged to leave or outright told to leave, which I personally feel was a mistake. Ended up draining our economy a lot. People lived longer. I don't know that they're going to do that in my generation. But it should be interesting to see what happens. So, you know what? Let's ask the interwebs. What is the official senior age these days? 12 years? Yeah. Well, I've got at least 12 before I could claim it, and I don't know. I don't even know that's going to be around by the time I'm old enough to claim it. The way they spend money in Congress. Whew. Child. Let's see. At what age are you considered a senior citizen? Many considered 50, 60, or 65 to be the age of seniors. 55, 62, and 65 are milestones. 55 to 60 is when most senior discount kicks in. 62 is the earliest age people qualify for Social Security, unless they have disability. And 65 is the age when people age into Medicare, the federal health insurance program. So there we have the official answer. Yeah. You probably are, Will. You probably are the baby. Yep. Taking care of autistic kids, that's special. Yeah. I was once called in to substitute teach, and they assigned me to an autistic little girl that day. And they warned me that she was nonverbal and likely to do physical violence to herself and to be difficult to handle. And so I walk into the computer lab, which is where they had her at the start of the school day, and I'm observing her. And I realize, there's nothing wrong with this girl's intelligence at all. What she's done is figure out that if she plays dumb, she gets to do whatever she wants. Because I was watching the way she was playing the game, and I knew there's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. She's just clocked it that she can get away with a lot. And so, and basically throughout the day, I told her, I said, I know you're smart. I know you're smarter than they're giving you credit for. I know you got this figured out. And so when she would get upset, she would start to try and bang her head on things. And I said, I understand that you're frustrated. And I understand that things aren't going the way you want, but that's not a good way to handle our frustration. Let's try using our words or using our expressions. Now, I'm not going to say that she talked by the end of the day, but she stayed relatively calm with me. By the end of that day, they were like, can we get you to come back? And unfortunately, I couldn't because I had a different job that I had to take care of. So I couldn't be on call like that for this little girl, but it would have been cool to be her primary caretaker. I would have looked forward to seeing what would have come of that. All right, I am gonna jump off the live stream. I totally appreciate you guys being here with me tonight. I know I did a little ranties. That's me. Every once in a while I will go off on a rant, so if I get too intense, you can always tell me, hey Brandy, that's enough of that. It's okay, I won't be offended. But I do have strong opinions. I'm not afraid to express them. And that's part of what I am. So anyway, but thanks for guys for joining me. I totally appreciate it. I do have to get off the stream because I have a client call tonight. And then I have to get packed for the event tomorrow. So thanks for joining me. I will see you guys around. You guys have a great rest of your evening. And if I don't see you on Saturday, I should be home by then. But if I don't see you on Saturday, I will have something recorded and tossed up there for it.